Hi from Crazy Clucky Hobby Farms. I've been writing about my green room for the past week because basically that's when we set it up. And I thought maybe I'd show you a sneak peek. It's been about 9 days since I started some of these seedlings. And I thought I'd update on my sweet potatoes and which way I would prefer to start my sweet potato slips. I did start them a little early because last year we had such, we really had a hard time starting, pardon me, I got a tickle in my throat, hang on. So sorry. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yes, right. We started them last year and we had such a hard time getting them to really produce any slips for us. I mean, we had like maybe 2 or 3 and they weren't great. I mean, they do have to be about at least, I don't know, oh, let's see, maybe a half a foot tall, if that. I don't know. But anyways, they didn't get to that. I mean, this is the most of the height that we got, and they just didn't do well. So that's why I started them early. I mean, it can take sometimes up to 3 months for these sweet potato slips to even start doing anything. Anyways, we changed these sweet potatoes out of their glasses and put them in here so I can keep them a lot cleaner. I mean, I was reasonably keeping them clean. I started them off in a light peroxide water solution so the water didn't get so yucky on them, and it really does help. I mean, they're healthy somewhat, they're thriving, and some of you might think these look great, but they don't. They're not compared to the other way we chose to start them. So these ones we did in water, and then I'll bring you up here, and these ones are in soil. I'm sorry about the lighting. I've tried different ways. This is like my 3rd video, and here, let's see if I can bring one of these down. They have rooted. They've been started at the same time. Hang on, sorry about that. They've been started at the same time, and there is a huge difference between the water started and the soil started. This one needs just a little bit more lighting, so I've been trying to rotate them around. I just brought them down to the green room about 4 or 5 days ago, so yeah. Anyways, but you can see that there's lots of new growth on them. These guys, I mean, I'm not sure what... I've been very much stressing about them because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them because they've done so well. I'll pot them up and hopefully they'll make it till May. I mean, I don't know. Anyways, moving on. So I'll show you my stand. We built this just over a week ago, and I'm really happy with it. It is exactly what I wanted. I mean, I shopped around. I was hoping not to build another thing at the beginning of this year because I have a lot of buildings that I got to be doing this year. But in order to get what I wanted, I end up having to build it, sorry. So this is it. I made sure this was like just over my waist. I'm 5'4", so I didn't have to do a lot of bending because that's, if anybody has done all this, it can be hard on your back after a while. And especially when you start transplanting. Anyways, this stand alone does 6 trays. So, and that's where I store the rest of my soil. Excuse my mop buckets because we also share this space. And that's another starting area that I'm waiting on my lights. So that's another thing. And as you can tell, I'm not great at these video things, but we're going to do it anyways. And then a tote to store my soil and whatnot. And, oh, here's another thing I should show you before we make this video too long. I started dragon fruit seedlings the same time as I started my sweet potato slips. Just give me 1 second. And they were started January 4th. Now, I had these upstairs And they were doing okay. I mean, they should have a lot more growth than what they actually do. Let's see if I can get a close-up. They were just watered and fed for the first time. So, I mean, they've always been watered, but I mean, we actually did an actual first time feeding on them. Anyways, they should be further along than what they are. So that's why now they're down here in the screw room. Or green room, whatever we're calling it. I don't know. Anyways, that's them, and they should be a little bit stronger. They're a little bit spindly, but that's okay. When I transplant them when the time comes, we'll plant them down and they'll be just fine. But I thought that was a bit fun. You know, I've never started dragon fruit seedlings, and they are actually really easy to grow. Now, to keep maintaining them through our cold winter months, that's going to be another chore, but like I said, on this stand, I got new lights coming in. This is what we used last year because we only started a few things from last year. Well, not a few things. Quite a few things, but they did really well because we were pretty close to the seedlings going out to the greenhouse. Anyways, back to the dragon fruit seedlings. So we're going to get an all spectrum lighting done on this shelf, these shelves only on this stand. And we may rotate them around. It'll just help the seedlings to acclimate a lot better. So when we do actually take them out, you know, they're not so stressed, and, you know, they'll have less time where the sun won't burn them as easily. So that's the whole plan. That's the hope anyways. So this one does 6 trays of these seed starters of 72s. This one is just, my friend gave me these. Thanks, Kathy. My friend gave me these, and so this is what we're using them for. These were just salad trays, or I can't remember what she had in these. But she gave these to us. They work great. I mean, they got nice slots underneath. Anyways, moving on so we don't make this too long, because that's what I did yesterday. I'll bring you over to our other stand, which is it's 4 foot length, and then it is 2 foot width, and then I think it's 6 foot high. So it does four levels. So bear with me, and I'll hopefully show you some of our seedlings. These are our peppers. I had to take the lids off early on these guys, so that's why they're not completely sprouted. These are our green bells, because I think those are my reds. So the reds really went crazy. I can't pull them all the way out because I lowered my light yesterday for the tomatoes. Anyways, and they're just under a regular LED fluorescent lighting that does, I think, 6,500 lumens. So, and there's 4 of them on each of these racks, and they're on pulley systems, so we can, you know, put our height at different levels. Tomatoes, I mean, they're doing really well. They're not very big, but these guys sprouted in 2-3 days, so like tomatoes always do. Moving on. So another seeding, or another tomato seeding tray. These are 72 slots for each one of these guys, and there's 2 seeds in each one. So there's quite a few in there. And they will also handle our little pots. See if I can grab one down. And let's see if I can get proper lighting. I'll try and go on top here. Anyways, so these will be what our transplants will go into next. We realize we're going to carry these plants. We want some size on some of these plants. So, and that's okay. I have other pots coming in. I got 1 gallons and whatever else coming in. I'm not sure yet. My husband did the order, so I'm hoping he got them all sorted out. Anyways, so that's what they'll be going into the next transplant, and they should fit on these shelves just fine. They're not going to be in here for too much longer, because after, I think it's their first month, they don't need as much lighting, so we'll have another room set up. If not, they'll go into our greenhouse like we did last year. So, and these guys, they were planted on the 23rd, so they're doing really well. I have to mention, I will not do any more startings. I mean, when I was learning about all this, you know, there's this way over seeding, of course, but doing them in the flats, and it's really easy. But I notice, even no matter how much you try and stabilize them, I mean, this one's got 2 trays underneath it, they still crack. So, and we've lost some seedlings due to that, so I won't do it like this again. So what I did instead is I just overseeded these guys. And depends on how well your plants do. You can divide these up like 2 times, maybe 3. Depends on how overseeded these are. These are chives. Chives, thyme, oregano. I mean, these are my herbs. So, and this is our second shelf, by the way. And then these are calendulas, and look at that. I got geraniums. I've never grown geraniums by seed. I like geraniums. I'm not a big fan, but I am at the same time. You know, it's just one of those plants. But I'm just really excited because I've actually started these guys from seed. They're still sprouting and germinating because I've had to take their lid off because they are partnered up with the calendulas, and they started a lot sooner. I mean, you can tell these guys are sprouting now. And we're on day 9 on some of these plants, and some of them are day 10. So, yeah, they grow really fast. Hollyhocks. We got hollyhocks in here, and they are sprouting. These are those chocolate, really deep, rich chocolate, so they're almost like a black hollyhock. And I've never started them on seed either, but I just thought they were really fun. I really like hollyhocks. These are your double blooms. So they won't get as tall as your chocolates, or, oh, sorry, I got those guys backwards. These are the chocolate ones, and these are your double blooms. But anyways, these only get, I don't know, up to 3-4 feet. So they're a really smaller hollyhock. So they will really nicely pair up with these guys. And these guys just got their first little bit of compost tea, just a smidge, because they are starting their true leaves here. I know you can wait until they come out and so on and so forth, but I like to give them just a little bit of a start because they are a flower plant. Anyways, moving down, our lavender had a really slow start. And for me, this is slow because usually I have everything germinating within the first 2 to 5 days because we do use their greenhouse lids. So it keeps them really nice and warm and well moisturized. So, but these guys, I don't know, lavender is a little bit finicky for me. This is my second time growing them, and I've started them really early. I mean, I started these guys on the 23rd of January. And they're a bit slow on the go. But you know what? I'm not too worried. We have plenty of time. And rosemary. It has not sprouted for me. I'm not worried, but you know, I've been looking up on them a little bit more. And I should have put their seeds in the fridge for 10 days. So I have another pack, because these guys are going to be really slow to germinate, if they germinate at all. So I put their seedlings, or their seeds, in the fridge for 10 days. So I just want to see the difference. And because rosemary is relatively easy to grow, it's just, it can be a hard start. So, and I think those guys were also planted on the 23rd or 24th. I can't really get down there and pull them out because we have 2 other trays in front, and they're here temporarily until I get my other lights in. They'll be in on Wednesday. And another thing I've never grown is pansies. I mean, I've always bought them from the nursery, but I thought it'd be so much fun to start them by seed. So I'm trying them out. And is that, yeah, that is pansy. So I'm trying them out, and so far they have done really well. They're still germinating and still sprouting, so that's good. And who are these guys? Oh, another herb, that's sage. And then we got snapdragons and these guys. Now, these are incredible. And I think that's tarragon. But, oh my goodness. I mean, I planted them on the 30th. They were up by the 1st. And today's the 2nd. So, look at that growth. Like, amazing. They are just a nice herb to sprout. And this is, again, another overseeding. So when we go to transplant them, we can divide these guys up in half. So that's not a real big deal. And then I got more pansies and peppermint and you name it. We're all starting here. And then another seed that is a really hard start is the tall Utah celery. They like to start germinating in light. So I'm trying these guys out. I've never done celery. They can be a little finicky. I think that's probably why it's really hard to get a lot of the seeds for them. But when did I start them? On the 30th of January. So I'm hoping, and I went through a seller on Amazon, so I'm not, they may or may not germinate because they may be old seed. So we will see. The packaging was a little on the dodgy side, and they may not even be true to what they are. But hey, that's the whole point of growing, is just experimenting, having fun, and learning. Now, you'll notice that I have some seedlings down here. They were planted a few days, or maybe it was just yesterday. I don't know. Days go by fast. If you're on a homestead, hobby farm, whatever, for me, it's hard to keep track of the days, and I lose them pretty quick. The last video I did yesterday, I thought these guys were already 2 weeks started, so, you know, and for me, I was thinking 2 weeks, so I was getting disappointed on the growth till I started looking up dates on for the video, and I realized it was only 8 days, so we're on day 9, and I'm like, oh, well, these guys are actually doing really well. So anyways, they're down here. For the parsley, I got 2 different types of parsley down there, the curly and then the regular Italian parsley, because they like to start dark, and then in a few days I'll eventually bring them out into light. These guys, again, like I said, they're waiting for my lighting, but because they are, I'm doing a rainbow tomato in this one. And what else is in there? Oh, more bell peppers, just in case that my greens don't start. So these ones are California Wonders. So just, you know, just for a backup, because, you know, you want to start everything a little bit earlier to, just in case something doesn't work out, or, you know, something takes out your seedlings. You know, this is a day-to-day job, but, you know, I really enjoy it. Winter months get very long, and it gets very hard to, you know, you got not a lot to do, you know. And if you're a gardener like I am, sort of, you know, I get enough to get by, you do start feeling like, you know, you need to start growing stuff. So hence why I'm super excited about having a green room. This is the biggest that we thought we would do. This, like I said, this stand holds 16 trays. So that's small, but I mean, once these guys are ready to go out, then we have these guys to reload again, because I got sunflowers that I do, you know, all sorts of other plants, squashes, and you name it. This year, we're actually going to start our sunflowers and whatnot a little bit early in the garden, because our weather has been so funny. So we may get them to flower, or we may not get them to flower, but if they do flower, we don't get them to the point where they go to seed. Same with our corn. So this year, I'm actually going to plant a little bit earlier in the house. So, you know, just to give us that chance. And here we are at 18 minutes. So if you make it through this far, thank you very much. That's awesome. If not, that's okay too. You know, just thought maybe you'd like to see some greenery starting up, and I may or may not update these. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not a great video person, and it's weird to talk to yourself. I'm downstairs, and this room is my broiler room. That's why we're able to do part of this, to keep these plants nice and warm without having to use extra energy throughout the winter season. And that's my cue. The boiler just pumped on, and it gets really loud in the next few seconds. So thanks for watching, and take care.